Hello and welcome to Wednesday's edition of Cracking the Cryptic. And yes, the great man has released a new puzzle. This is Phistomefel's latest, and it just appeared last night over on Logic Masters Germany. It's a normal thermo Sudoku, so we should be quite well practiced at least the rule set that are going to be applying today. And interestingly, this puzzle is so new that it hasn't even got a rating yet, although we can see that Phistomefel seems to have judged its difficulty as 3 stars out of 5, which I take with a large pinch of salt. Anyway, we'll have a look at this in just a moment. A couple of things I want to mention first. I hope all of you managed to try Shai's gorgeous puzzle from yesterday's video, The Hive. I was intrigued to read on our Discord server last night that Shai had built into that puzzle an alternative way of breaking in. And I wanted to show you this because it really is quite, it's very unusual, very clever. And you can judge for yourselves whether I was daft for not spotting it. It revolves around set equivalence theory, of all things. Set equivalence theory, for those of you who aren't familiar, that is a very posh way of saying a very simple thing. If we think about this column of a Sudoku, I'll just make it, obviously, that's going to be all of the digits from 1 to 9. Now, the way to think about set equivalence theory, by the way, is to think of it in terms of positive and negatives. So I'm going to make this a positive column, and let's make this a negative row. So as we go along, this will be negative, this will be negative, this will be negative, this will be negative. This square was positive before. Now it's sort of neutralized by the negative, so it becomes a 0, if you like, uncharged cell. And the rest of it continues. Now, it is very obvious, hopefully, for everyone to realise that the purple cells and the blue cells must contain exactly the same set of 8 digits. And we can see that very simply. Let's just put an 8 in the grid. Oh, I have to switch to that to do that. So let's put an 8 in the grid. These blue cells will therefore be all of the digits from 1 to 9 except 8. And these purple cells will be all of the digits from 1 to 9 except 8 as well. So the blues and the purples are the same. Now, this is what Shai started with as an idea, and then look where she decided to go. So she started off by thinking of boxes 1, 7 and 9 as positive. They can be positive or negative, it doesn't matter, but we'll treat them as positive, which is purple in our world. Then she said, right, what I want to do is to deduct column 1 from this. So we'll deduct column 1. So you can see if we deduct column 1, deducting these cells turns them neutral. So they become neutral. These would become negative. These would become neutral. And we reach this position. Then she said, now I'm going to deduct row 9. So this square now, which was neutral, becomes green. These two turn neutral, these become green, these all become neutral. And finally, to make sure that, because remember we started with 3 complete positive boxes, so Shai is trying to equate, if you like, the number of negative sets of 1 to 9 with the number of positive 1s and 9s that she's adding into this arrangement. So we've had 3 positives and 2 negatives so far. She now deducted out the lead diagonal. So let's see what this does. That therefore becomes negative. These 2 become neutral. Those become negative. These become neutral, and this becomes negative. And we end up with this arrangement of all things, in which we can say with certainty, but mathematically and topologically, we have proved that the purple cells and the green cells contain exactly the same sets of digits. And hopefully there are the same number of each. You can see there are 12 purples and, yes, there are 12 greens, negatives. Now, if we know these are the same, we can then actually do some mathematics on the grid to make a start. So let's see how we can do that. If you remember yesterday, we were able to prove those cells there added to 16, because you can see in box 1 they have to be 14, they have to be 15, just using the fact that the digits 1 to 9 add up to 45. Now if we know those are 16, those are 19, and those are 21. That adds up to 56. So the greens add up to 56 plus those 3 squares. Now the purples add up to 29, 44 plus these 2 squares. So on one side we've got 44 plus these 2 squares. On the other side we've got, what was it? I've forgotten what the number was. Was it 50? Yeah, 56 plus these 3 squares. So unless we make these 2 squares absolutely maximum, we can't make these 3 small enough. Let's see why that's the case. If I make these both 9s, I've then got 62 on one side of my equation, and on the other side of my equation I've got 56 plus these 3 squares. Well, these 3 squares remarkably all see each other because of the diagonal constraint. So they all have to be different digits, which means they had to be 1, 2 and 3. And this was a way of starting the puzzle to get these 9s here and the 1s, 2s and 3s in the corner. Yeah, I'm not terribly embarrassed I didn't see that. Let's just leave it there. Anyway, if you are interested in that sort of logic, then do let us know in the comments, because we're very happy. Maybe we can do an edition talking about set theory if it rings your bells. Now, let's get on to... Oh no, before we get on to Phistomefel's puzzle, do check out on Patreon our Groundhog Day Sudoku, our monthly bonus for February. It's being very well received. We've had hundreds, literally hundreds of correct solutions, and all of them have been very positive about the puzzles. So I definitely recommend it. Now, the rules of Phistomefel, you can see it's a very sparse looking grid really. Normal Sudoku rules apply. Along thermometers, digits must increase from the bulb end. That's it. So if you've never seen thermometer Sudoku before, you've got to put the lowest digit on this thermometer would have to appear in this square. Let's make that 4. This square therefore has to be higher than 4. Doesn't have to be 5. It just has to be higher than 4. So it could be 6, then that could be 8, that could be 9, and that would be a perfectly valid thermometer. So do have a go. The way to play is to click the link under the video. Now I get to play. Let's get cracking. Now, I know Mark will be desperate for me to immediately... How long are these? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That doesn't look like it's 6 long. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 4 there. Right. So Mark will be desperate for me to immediately label this 1, 2, 3, 4, this 2, 3, 4, 5, and I may have to do that, especially with Phistomefel, but I am just going to spend a moment staring. If you don't mind, because we might be able to say, I mean, the things I'm looking for here, by the way, are things like, I can see 1 in box 5 has to be in one of these yellow squares, because you can never put 1 partially along a thermometer. If a 1 is on the thermometer, it must be in the bulb. If a 9 is on a thermometer, it must be in the end. Now, so, I mean, one of the things I can see here is that these squares have to be relatively high digits. They're right at the end of their thermometers, and each of these thermometers is 6 long. So, in fact, we can immediately say that those squares have to be at least equal to 5, because if that's a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, the same will be true of this one. It's the same length of thermometer. Now, the reason that might be interesting, look, is that we've got... So in this box, in box 1, we have to put the digits 1, 2, 3 and 4 in this shape. I'm actually tempted... I know it's a bit bizarre, but I'm actually tempted to highlight that, because that looks like an empty rectangle to me. Because... What's an empty rectangle? Well, it's a posh way of saying that the digits 1, 2, 3 and 4 can basically only be, you know, that, well, we can divide them. There are 2 possibilities for each of those digits. They're either in row 2, or they're in column 1, or they're in both. yeah, so two, three. Yeah, so this thermometer here is a little bit constrained. You know, if we make this cell a 3, that breaks box 1. Because where are you? If this is a 3, you've got 1, 2, 3 at the start of the thermometer. And then you have to put 1, 2, and 3 into this domino. Well, you can't do that. So this can't be a 3. So is this useful? No, actually, no, hang on, it can't be a 4 either. Sorry, no, it can't be a 4. If it's a 4, I get exactly the same problem. I've got those 3 digits have to be selected from 1, 2, 3, and 4, and whatever they are, they get pushed through. All 3 digits get pushed into the domino. This can't be a 4. So this square has to be at least equal to 5. And that's going to, you see, this is useful. That's going to put some pressure on these squares. Because if this is at least 5, this is at least 7. And it can't be 9, actually, because if it's 9, it's partially along its thermometer. So this is quite interesting. We've now got, so this can't be higher than 6, because if it's higher, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, okay. So we reduce the top of the thermometer to just 1 degree of freedom on each cell, which is lovely. Is it lovely? Maybe it's not. Okay, well now we can look at this domino. Right, clearly this square can't be a 9, sorry, and clearly this square can't be a 5 because it's too high up the thermometer. We then go 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. I can't put 0 on the thermometer. So, but more importantly than that, I can't make this square a 7 because if this square's a 7, these 4 squares are being selected from the digits 7, 8, and 9. So this square cannot be 7 or 8 by that logic. So this one is 5 or 6, which means I've reduced all the degrees of freedom down this thermometer as well. Oopsie, I need to go the other way with my hand. That's better. Right. So, what does this mean? I can't now put 2 and 3 in these 3 squares because that will break that one. So there must be a 2 or a 3 in one of these 2 squares or both. Right. I can feel the encroaching Goodliff here. Should be approaching Goodliff. The looming terror of doing a Goodliffism. Here we go. Right, okay, this has to be 1, 2, 3, and 4. This has to be 2, 3, 4, or 5. And then things change. So I'm not quite understanding this. There seems to me to be, if that's a 6, you then have to put all of the digits 1, 2, 3, and 4 and 5 into the T pentomino here. That would give you a it would actually give you a septuple. Yeah, actually that's interesting. If that's 6, you've got nowhere to put 8 and 9 in any of those squares. You have to put 8 and 9 at the bottom. If that's 6, you get 8 and 9 down here. You get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here. Oh, you do. You get a 6, 7 pair as well. So you get a 6, 7 pair here and an 8, 9 pair there. What's the great man got in store for us here? This is confusing. Right, let's have a look at other things, I think. I can't see a way of... I can't see anything clever I can do with this one, I'm afraid, so I am going to just pencil mark it in like this. Whoopsie. 6, 7, 8 or 9. So this one is a lot shorter than this one. I mean, I can't think this is going to be the beginning. It must be this side. This one is a puny little thermometer, and this is even worse. This is just a disambiguating thermometer. I'm fairly confident this isn't going to be the start. Now, what are the restrictions on this thermometer then? Is there anything we can say with certainty about it? It's actually very odd. This one doesn't seem to be restricted at all by what's happened at the top of the grid. Can't have 2, 3 here. 2 or 3 must be there. So we've got to find some way of... If this is 6, you get 8, 9 at the bottom. I don't think that matters, does it? I mean, it would obviously matter if this square had to be higher, then we might get a Aha! What am I missing here? Oh dear, dear, dear. We've got to think about something else. I mean, this is just screaming at me. This must be relevant, I think. I just don't think I'm quite understanding how it impacts on this row. So whatever you put in there... Oh, actually, that is an interesting thought, suddenly. Oh, yeah, that is an interesting thought. Whatever you put in the ends of the thermometer here, in these 3 squares, where do they go in box 2? They have to go in those 3 squares, because you can't repeat a digit on a thermometer. So if that was the 1 or the 2... No, I think that's still got... Can't quite understand how this works. It's very close to being restricted, I think. If this is 5, you get 4, 3, 2. You get 2, 4 here. You then get 2, 4 there. Still, that looks okay, doesn't it? If this is 6, you've got 6, 7, 8, 9 quadruple. You've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 there. You've not put 8, 9 in the column. You have to put 8, 9 in the domino at the bottom of the grid. Oh, that's good. Ah, right, got it. Got it. That is... the guy is a genius. This is just beautiful. And it's so simple once you see it. Right, let's carry on thinking about the ends of the thermometers down here. These 3 squares, where do they go in box 8? Well, they can't repeat we can't have the same digit on the thermometer. So these 3 squares occupy, whatever's in these 3 squares exactly occupies those 3 squares in box 8. So if I make this square an 8 or a 9, where do I put it? Where do I put this 8, 9 in box 8? It can't go here. these 3 squares won't, whatever's in there will not be what's in these 3 squares by the rules of Sudoku. Yet we know these 3 squares are those, so 8, 9 would not have a home to live in box 8, so it can't be an 8, 9. That is just lovely. It's so simple, but I just didn't think about the fact that the thermometer, it's not the numbers on the thermometer, it's the shape of the thermometer and how the geometry of the shape impacts on what can go in the box. It's just brilliant. It's just brilliant. So, and this is massive, because if you can't have an 8, 9 pair at the bottom of the column, this square cannot be a 6, because that, if it's a 6, you will force an 8, 9 pair. That's a 5. That's a 4, 3, 2, 1, and we get a flurry of digits. Oh, yeah, look. 2, 4. So this is a 2, 4 pair now. That means that's not 2, 4. That's not 2, 4. What else does it mean? We can do some tidying up. Look down in the columns. That can't be 4. That can't be 3. If that can't be 3, that can't be 4, that can't be 5, and that can't be 6, because it propagates along the thermometer, which is quite nice. 2, 4. we've still not put 8 and 9 in column 1. I still can't put them. In fact, this square simply cannot be an 8 or a 9. That might be an easy way to think about it. This square is just not 8 or 9 because you can't put it in those 3 squares. So where do 8 and 9 go in the column? They must go in those 2 squares, which means this is not, sorry, it means this square here is not a 1 or a 3, which means this is a 1, 3 pair now. 2, 4. Okay, this square, that's probably, oh yeah, no, this being an 8 or a 9 gives us an 8, 9 pair in box 1, which makes that square a 7 and this square a 6. The 7, oh, this is gorgeous. Look, the 7 fixes almost all of this thermometer. We get a 6. In fact, no, it fixes all of the thermometer. You get a 5 here, you get a 3 here, you get a 1 here. And now hopefully whatever we put in there, which is a 7, yes, oh look, this is going to give us this digit, because now the logic earlier, we know those 3 squares are in there, so whatever we put in this square has to be one of those 3 digits. Well, now it's a 7, it can't go in those squares, so it goes here, which means this is 8, this is, oops, that's an 8, 9 pair. What does this mean? I don't know, but this is suddenly going better. We've got 1, 5, 6 there, so by this logic we've been doing, we know those 3 squares are 1, 5 and 6. I mean, it's just basic Sudoku now. These squares are 7, 8 and 9. That's not 7, look. These squares are 2, 3 and 4 to complete the row. There must be a 3 in one of them because there's no 3 here. 7. Oh, okay. Yeah, we've got 7s here and here. You can't put 7 on this thermometer, or this will be 8 or 9. So 7 is a bit restricted. 5 must be in one of those squares. 6 must be in one of these squares. 8 and 9 have to be in 2 of these 3 squares, so I'll certainly pencil mark that. Now the other one will be whatever this is. This can't be a 1 because of the 1 here. Right, okay, so the 1 in box 8 here, we know now can't be in those 3 squares, so it must be in one of those 3 squares, which means, and the 1 can't be at the end of the thermometer, so the 1 is in one of these 2 squares. probably getting rid of 2 here getting rid of 1 here gets rid of 2 here, and that gets rid of 3. 3 was already got rid of there, so this, can we do any more with this? This square seems the weakest. I don't know. See, I don't know if I can do anything with that. We can... This thermometer, though, is more restricted than it used to be. This square here can't be 7, 8, or 9. So its maximum value is 6. 5, 4, 3. So there isn't that much freedom along this thermometer. This can't be a 3. Almost got a triple in the column, but not quite. Those 3 squares are interesting, because these 3 squares see the entirety of that thermometer, look. Now that might be interesting. So we've got... Do you have to be careful with the values? So if this was a 4, this thermometer would be 1, 2, 3, 4, and then these 3 squares could not be 1, 2, 3, or 4, or 8 or 9. 1, 2, 3, or 4. So they'd have to be 5, 6, and 7. The 7 would have to go there, and this would be a 5, 6 pair. Ooh, is that broken? This is classic Phistomefel, by the way. This just rings alarm bells. The fact that these 3 squares see the whole of this thermometer is very suspicious. 4, 3, 2, 1. That square therefore is a 3 or a 4. These squares have to be 5, 6, and 7 by Sudoku then. 7 goes here, 5, 6 goes here. 8, 9 have to go in those 3 squares. That looks okay though. Bobbins. About the other way round. If this is high, if this is 3, 4, 5, 6, three, 4. No, that doesn't work. That's it. That's what we've got to think about. High digits, no, don't make this low, make it high. If this is 3, 4, 5, 6, let's just double check the logic here. What do we put in those squares? Well, you can see we can't put 3, 4, 5, and 6 because all 3 of these squares see the entirety of this thermometer. We can't put 8, 9. So that's 6 digits we can't put in these 3 squares, so they are 1, 2, and 7. But if these are 1, 2, and 7, what do I put in that square? Nothing. It can't be 2, it can't be 3 or 4. It's broken. So this is wrong, and that is, for once, good. If this is not 3... Oh, that's okay though. I was about to say that's all I get from that, but I don't have to go much further to get a bit further. Look, this square, can it be 4? The answer is no. We get exactly the same. This now, what do we have to choose for these squares here? The answer, we've got one more digit to play with. We've got 1, 2, 3, and 7 into these squares. This can't be 4 anymore. Now look. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cells there that have to be, and we have to select 4 different digits to fill those 5 cells. That doesn't work. Or another way of putting it, which might be simpler actually, is just to look at 5, 6, 8 and 9 and say where do they go in the column. There are only 3 spaces for them. That won't work either. Now that is better, I suspect, because that gives us the fact this is not 4. So this is 2, this is 1. That's not 2 anymore. The 1 must go here by Sudoku. The... Oh no! You're kidding me! That must do something. Oh, 2. Yes, it does. Look, I've not put a 2 in this box. Let's just do Sudoku. 2 goes there, 7 goes there. 7. 7's in this domino. 2 is in one of those 2 squares, but I don't think we know which one. 2. Oh, okay. So we end up here with a 3, 4, 5, 6 quadruple in the box. Can we take that any further? Can we... This, maybe we go to this bulb now. Because that, I can see that can't be 1, 2 or 3. So it's got to be at least 4. And it can't be higher than 6. In fact, oh, it can't be 6. If it's 6, you have to put 7, 8, 9 on this thermometer. And 7 can't go there. So it's not 6. I think it's 4 or 5. This square, therefore, can't be 5 or 7. So this has to be 6. Because otherwise... it's going to go, if it's 8, you go 9, 10, and you can't put 10 on the thermometer. So this is 6 as a naked, well, not sort of a, as a thing we've discovered. 6, this square is 7 or 8, this square is 8 or 9. Two, where does 2 go in box 5 now? It's got to be there. Which means 2's in one of these. Can you put 2 at the end of the thermometer? That would have to be a 1. That is... oh, that's apparently possible. Oh. Okay, that might work. 3 has to go up there. Ah, one of those 2 squares. 3 is in one of these 2 squares. Okay, that doesn't seem to have done anything either. 6. 6 goes here. Good. Does that do something? Answer, no. No, it doesn't. So can we somehow force what's going on? Is there something we can do here? We can... there's probably a way that this thermometer interacts with this thermometer that is actually useful. If I was clever enough to spot what it was. This, whatever's in this square, has to go in one of those squares. If that was 2, the 2 would have to go here. This would be an 8-9 pair. That would give me lots of useful things. 8-9 pair there. That would give me a 7 here. If this is 3 or 4 in here, these 2 squares become 5-6 pair. Look. Oh right. Ah, hang on. Yeah. Yes. Got something. Right. Okay. If this is not 2, it's 3 or 4. There's a knowledge bomb from Cracking the Cryptic. No, but seriously, whether this is 3 or 4, this is 5 and this is 6. But the 6 here in box 7 would be there. So this domino would become a 5-6 domino. And this is now broken because the only digits that you can put into these two squares are now 4 and 3. This is on the thermometer, so it has to be lower than those. And it can only so you'd have those 3 squares needing to be 3 or 4, and we'd have to make this a Schrödinger cell, and this would have to be 5 and 6 simultaneously, which is impossible. So this is quite helpful, I think, because we learn lots of things. We learn that this cannot be 3 or 4, this has to be 2. Therefore, this has to be 2 by Sudoku. This becomes, let me get rid of the, and put central pencil marking. This becomes an 8-9 pair. This still can't be 5 because it's the same problem. Just because a 3 or a 4 here forced the problem, we can still force the problem by just saying, what if this is a 5? If it's a 5, you still get a 5-6 pair here. It still breaks it. This is always 3. Don't know what we maybe can't say the same about that square though. 3 therefore is here. 2 is here. That's not 3. Okay, good, I think. 8-9 pair in column 4. This square's got to be a 7. I've also got an 8-9 pair in this column as well. In fact, I've got 8-9 pairs all over the place. I've got an 8-9 pair here, an 8-9 pair here. So let's look at these two columns. I've got 6 digits approximately placed in column 6. So I need 1, 4 and 5 into those squares. 1, 4, 5. Not sure. This column, I've also got 6 digits basically in it. This time I need 1, 5, 6. I can see something immediately there. 1, 5, 6 here. This can't be 6 because of the 6 there. Those 3 squares are 1, 4, 5 triple now. So this row is probably where we need to look. We can do a little bit of Sudoku straight away. In this triple, the 1 is definitely in one of those 2 places. So 1 must be in one of these 2 places. That's cool, because now this can't be a 2, because the 1 must be, can't go here. So we can get the 2. It doesn't actually seem to do anything. But let's keep looking along here. We still need to place, it's just 7, 8 and 9 I think we're missing. Okay, let's put that in and see if it tells us anything. That can never be 9. That becomes a high. Oh, lovely. Yeah, look. This being a 7 or an 8, this has to be an 8 or a 9. Look, bingo. We've got an 8-9 pair here. That means 7 goes there. That's not 7. More 8s and 9s all over the place. This 7's not done anything. Oh. No, it's not really done much. 7 goes up there. No. It's really not done much. 7, 8, 9. So this is a 1, 4 pair. This is 1, 4. Hang on. Yeah, okay. So look, 1, 4 and 5 triple here. So this is 1 or 4. 1, 4 or 5. There's a 1, 4 pair. That's got to be 5. That's 6. That's therefore 4. That might be helpful. It's getting rid of some stuff. This 5's giving me a 1 here and a 4 here. That's getting rid of more stuff. Still not enough stuff for us to actually finish the puzzle, but oh no, hang on. I've not put 1 in this column. That must go here. Therefore, that fixes all of this. Suddenly, I feel that dangerous emotion of hope. What was it John Cleese said? I can take the despair, just don't give me the hope. This is a 3-4 pair, I think. I can't see which way it goes, but it being a 3-4 pair fixes that this is a 5. So these are a 7, 8, 9 triple. Whoopsie, that didn't go very well. 7, 8, 9 triple there. That's not 7, that's not 9, that's not 8. Oh, I'll tell you one thing we can do. Where does 3 go? In column 7. Those two can't be 3. There's a 3 here, 3 here. Yeah, so there's got to be a 3 here. That gives us a 4. That's not 4 anymore at the top. 8, 9 pair here. So in this row we need 3, 5 and 6. That might be useful. 3, 5 and 6. There's a 6 there, look. So this is the only place 6 can go in the row. No, it's still not rolling over. Oh, hang on. What about this row? 3s and 4s we've not placed. So this is 3 or 4. This is 3 or 4. Ah! Don't believe it. Really? Okay, no, we're still not done. I've got 8, 9 pairs everywhere. This one can't be 5. Look, maybe I've got to just slow down and look at Sudoku. We must be able to fix this thermometer now, can we? Or at least, I can't see how to do it. Oh look, there's a 3, 4 pair in column 9. So that square's not 4. Does that do it? 5, 6, 8, 9 into these squares. That can't be 6. That can't be 5. 2, 4, 3 over here. No, it's still not quite cracking. I think I'm just missing one deduction here. 5, 8, 9. This square here is quite restricted. Oh, 7 in fact. Oh, bobbins, sorry. Now let me stare at this again. Where do we find the breakthrough? Oh, there it is. I've got an 8, 9 pair in column 3. So that's a 7. Although that may just give me more 8, 9s. I have a horrible feeling. That's all it's done, isn't it? I don't believe it. So although that does give me a 1, 3, 4 into this square, which is resolvable. That becomes a 4. And that is powerful, look. That gives me a 3 and a 5, which gives me a 3 and a 1 and a 4. Now this 4 becomes a 6, that becomes a 5, that becomes a 3. This thermometer is working, which is a relief. 4, 3, 2, 4, 2. I have an awful lot of 8s and 9s in this grid. In fact, look, the only digit I've... Whoa, it's just, they're everywhere. Okay, well, we've got to continue. What's going on in this box then? We've got in this column we need 4, 7 and 9. So this is the only place a 4 can go. This is a 7 or a 9. In this column we just need 5, 7 and 8. So this is a 7 or an 8 and this must be the 5. Which means this is the 6. Okay, I have spotted what we do now. Look, I think we've just got 8, 9s almost everywhere, except there is an 8, 9 pair here, which looks like making that one a 7. That becomes an 8, 7, 9, 8, 9. Yeah, 9, 8, 9, 8, 8, 9, 8, 9, 9, 8, 9, 8. Yes, he's a brilliant, brilliant man, isn't he, Phistomefel? That is crazy, absolutely crazy. The logic around these thermometers was just something you don't come across every day. It's just wonderful. You know, it's how many classic Sudokus have I solved in my life? A lot. A classic thermo Sudokus. How many thermo Sudokus have I set in my life? A lot. and never have I seen this done before. It's just elegance personified. Loved it. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll be back later with another edition of Cracking the Cryptic.